So, you hit 45, looked in the mirror, realised your metabolism packed its bags and moved to another state, and decided it was time to join the intermittent fasting cult. You downloaded the app with the little fasting tracker, you aggressively skipped breakfast, and now you're walking around the office angry, exhausted, and wondering why your hair is suddenly thinning and your waistline is holding onto fat like a hoarder with an expired coupon collection. Spoiler alert, you are absolutely butchering your endocrine system. Intermittent fasting is a phenomenal biological tool, but most of you are out here wielding it like a toddler swinging a running chainsaw. Your hormonal landscape is fundamentally not what it used to be. Your cellular engines, the mitochondria, have essentially unionized and are demanding better working conditions. Your cortisol, thyroid, estrogen, and testosterone are operating on an entirely different physiological baseline than they were in your 20s. You cannot fast like a 22-year-old fitness influencer who lives in a gym, takes afternoon naps, and doesn't have a mortgage. Here are the 6 intermittent fasting mistakes you're making right now that are actively ruining your hormones over 45, the actual science behind why it's happening, and how to fix them before your body files for a restraining order against you. Mistake number 1. You are fasting for way too long. Look, I get it. You watched a 3-hour podcast from some tech bro sitting in a freezing ice bath, and now you think you need to do a 24-hour water fast every other day just to prove you have discipline. Stop doing this immediately. When you're over 45, excessive fasting isn't a biohack. It is perceived by your nervous system as a massive, life-threatening stressor. Your body operates on the HPA axis, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, and when you aggressively starve a body that's already going through the natural hormonal shifts of aging, that axis panics. It starts pumping out cortisol like it's getting paid on commission. This means your body is literally stealing the chemical building blocks meant for your sex hormones, like testosterone and progesterone, just to manufacture more stress hormones. It completely flatlines your libido and sends a loud, blaring signal to your brain that says, quote 1, we are not in survival mode. If you are doing 18, 20, or 24-hour fasts and your sleep is wrecked, you need to dial it back. 12 to 14 hours is the actual sweet spot for older adults. You still activate autophagy, the cellular cleanup process, without putting your adrenal glands in a literal chokehold. Mistake number 2. Raw dogging black coffee on an entirely empty, stressed out stomach. I know this is going to hurt some of you to hear, but waking up at 6 a.m. and immediately chugging a giant vat of dark roast on a completely hollow stomach is a federal crime against your gut microbiome. Remember that cortisol spike we just talked about? Your cortisol naturally peaks about 30 to 45 minutes after you wake up. That is the biological mechanism that gets you out of bed. When you dump highly acidic, heavily caffeinated bean juice right on top of that natural peak, with absolutely zero food in your stomach to buffer it, you trigger a massive release of adrenaline and epinephrine. You're essentially pouring industrial degreaser on your delicate stomach lining, which spikes your blood sugar even though you haven't eaten a single carbohydrate. This artificial glucose dump leads to that jittery fake energy, followed by a 2 p.m. crash so incredibly severe you feel like you got hit by a speeding minivan crashing into a brick wall. Delay your coffee for at least 90 to 120 minutes after waking up to let your natural adenosine and cortisol levels clear out. Or at the very least, put a tiny bit of healthy fat, heavy cream, or a scoop of collagen in it so your stomach isn't just acting as a boiling cauldron of battery acid. Mistake number 3. Breaking your fast like a raccoon that just found an unlocked dumpster. This is the most baffling psychological phenomenon in the fasting community. You will have the mental discipline of a Shaolin monk for 16 straight hours, refusing even a breath mint. But the absolute millisecond your fasting timer goes off, you lose your mind and demolish a bagel, a giant bowl of cereal and half a pizza. When you break a fast with refined carbohydrates and straight sugar, you bypass the liver's ability to slowly process glycogen. Your insulin spikes so violently that it immediately shuts down fat oxidation, meaning your body stops burning fat the exact second that sugar hits your bloodstream. Your pancreas is screaming for mercy as it pumps out massive amounts of insulin to clear the sugar, a violently spiking red graph line. Over time, this daily massive spike and crash damages your endothelial cells and creates massive insulin resistance, which is the root cause of almost every hormonal imbalance in aging adults. You need to break your fast gently with protein and healthy fats to trigger the GLP-1 hormone, which signals fullness. Scrambled eggs, an avocado, a solid protein shake, or chicken. Keep the insulin spikes smooth and steady, or you're honestly just playing yourself. Mistake number 4, completely ignoring your electrolytes. When you start fasting, your insulin drops. That is a great thing for weight loss, but biology demands a trade-off. When your insulin stays low, the hormone aldosterone plummets, which signals your kidneys to open the floodgates and flush out your sodium, potassium and magnesium like they are illegal contraband. Most of you walking around complaining that you're starving during your fast aren't actually hungry at all. You're profoundly dehydrated on a cellular level and completely stripped of essential minerals. If you're getting splitting headaches, muscle cramps in your calves, or brain fog so thick you forget your own passwords while fasting, your body doesn't need a sandwich, it needs salt. Magnesium is required for over 300 enzymatic reactions, potassium regulates your heartbeat, and sodium fires your neurons. You have to stop being terrified of salt. Put a generous pinch of high-quality sea salt or a sugar-free electrolyte powder in your water. It regulates your blood pressure, helps your cells actually communicate with each other, and stops you from walking around the grocery store twitching like a glitching video game NPC. Mistake number 5. You're actively starving your muscles. When you compress your eating window into a few hours, you naturally end up eating fewer calories. That's the entire mechanical premise of weight loss. But the massive glaring problem is, you guys are eating like literal birds. Once you cross 45, you're actively fighting a ruthless condition called sarcopenia, which is the medical term for age-related muscle loss. You naturally lose about 3 to 8% of your muscle mass per decade after 30. Muscle is highly metabolically active tissue. It is expensive for your body to maintain. If you shrink your eating window to 6 hours and you only manage to choke down 50 grams of protein all day, your body views your muscle as an unnecessary expense and starts breaking down your own tissue, just to get the amino acids it needs to survive. Muscle is the armour for your metabolism and the primary sink for glucose disposal. It's the only thing keeping your basal metabolic rate high as you age. Every single meal inside your eating window needs to be heavily built around a massive chunk of protein. Aim for at least 30 to 40 grams per sitting to trigger muscle protein synthesis. Stop eating a single leaf of lettuce, a handful of almonds, and calling it a health protocol. A remarkably sad-looking plate with one lettuce leaf. Mistake number 6. Being a pathetic slave to the clock. Your body is a highly complex, infinitely adaptable biological organism, not a programmed machine running on iOS. Some days you sleep horribly, you're stressed out of your mind at work, your dog kept you up, and you wake up absolutely ravenous. But instead of just eating some nutrient-dense food, you sit there staring at your fasting app, counting down the last 47 minutes like it's a bomb you have to defuse to save the city. Sleep deprivation drastically raises ghrelin, your hunger hormone, and tanks leptin, your fullness hormone. If you are over 45, and especially if you are a woman dealing with the chaotic rollercoaster of perimenopause or menopause, your hormones are fluctuating wildly day by day. If you force a rigid 16-hour fast on a day where your body is literally screaming for nutrients because you slept poorly, you are unnecessarily crushing your thyroid function and slowing down your metabolism. You have to be flexible. Fasting is a stressor. Don't add fasting stress to it. If you feel terrible, shaky and weak at hour 13, just eat. The little cartoon fasting app on your phone does not know what your real-time hormones are doing. You do. Intermittent fasting is an incredibly powerful tool for anti-aging, insulin control and longevity. But you have to respect the reality of where your biology is at right now. Stop fasting like a maniac, prioritize your protein, put some salt in your water, and actually listen to the chemical signals your body is sending you. If you want to know the exact foods you should be eating during your feeding window to fix your metabolism after 45, click the video on screen right now. I break down the exact grocery list you need to stop feeling like garbage. Subscribe so you stop making these embarrassing rookie mistakes, and I'll see you in the next one.